And I think one of the reasons I'm standing here instead of other people is that I have deals in Russia.
I thought we could sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak.
To be honest, I inherited a mess. It's a mess.
The third, broadly, line of work is what is deconstruction of the administrative state.
And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country.
Consistent. If you look at these cabinet appointees, they were selected for a reason. That's all going to be deconstructed.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror.
Number one, I am the least anti-Semitic person that you've ever seen in your entire life. Number two, racism. The least racist person.
You know what look at my African-American over here. Look at him.
I have a great relationship with the blacks. I've always had a great relationship with the blacks.
Who are you?
Crushing juggernaut. Show me what you got.
That's a lovely, lovely voice.
T-Bane.
That's right. We're pumping some T-Bane in the house today.
Kicking in old school.
He's here.
Is T-Bane in the Hizzy?
Oh, wow. Solid 7 out of 10.
Hey, everybody, we're back, and look who's with me. Yes, it's none other than Cameron.
Who's that?
Well,
he hasn't been here for 3 months.
I have a great idea. Why don't you, scooch a little forward and sit up so they can actually see you? You're, again, like goddamn Gollum in the corner of the room.
He had it right.
Yes.
Very comfortable. God, this I've heard it once.
Thank you. Wow, I get coffee.
Coffee?
Cafe au lait.
No, that's a place you buy coffee.
Excuse me. Wait, I can't see now our
Let's
3-shot.
see when the next 7 hurricanes are coming.
There we go.
Next week.
Yay, we're in show mode. We have 2 camera shot. We're up. We're ready to go. Where was that coffee there, sweetie pie?
I know. Texting.
My wife is here. You may know her from another show known
shit,
as...
my phone is disabled. Try again in 1 minute.
Known as That Man on Fat Man. My name is...
Whoa! Slim Shady?
Slim Shady. My name is Slick Rickio.
Boo!
When I rock upon the mic, I rock the mic right, yo.
Slip dick.
Do I have a broken hand? Do I have a metal hand? What is going on here? Do I have a metal nose? What's wrong with my face? Something is wrong.
I have a weird mustache. I look like a pervert. Oh.
I somehow am in a weird outfit. I look like a mannequin. That someone threw up on a mannequin.
He looks like that.
Didn't he wear like a white fucking top hat and shit? I don't remember. It's
like
been a very long time.
Like a crooked hat.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He had glasses on.
I just remember he sounded, he affected a voice. He like,
the cheesiest...
when I rock upon the mic.
You remember the...
Oh, lottie-dottie. Are we like to potty?
You remember the album cover where he's like looking out, he's like smiling like...
Not at all. I don't. I really don't remember.
It's my favorite album because of how cheesy it is. It's so stupid looking.
Oh no! You should look at any. What do we?
Huh?
When I was a kid, we'd get stuck.
Well, I think that's later.
Okay. When I was a kid, we'd get stuck in Kmart or something with like our parents, and so we're talking back when there was albums. Yeah. And at Kmart, you had the budget bin. Every record was a budget record. But so you had the entire Menudo collection.
Is it like... Do
you know what Menudo is?
No idea.
Menudo was this band that was essentially, it was a Latin pop band.
Oh,
so they sang in Spanish, and they're geared to pop sounds, but they were kind of like, it was a vocal band, and they would literally interchange members and just keep the same band going. It was like a branded product. And they would have members go in and out. And
to what extent? Is it like did
it was like it was always a 5-boy singing band.
Oh, so it's like K-pop.
But it was Latino, so they would sing in Spanish. So they were huge, worldwide, everywhere but here.
I thought you meant like King Crimson levels of like.
Well, what I'm saying is they had the cheesiest fucking album covers.
That sounds awesome.
Oh man!
Did it sell albums?
Because it was like in the '80s, but for whatever reason, these kids look like it was the '70s.
Oh, okay.
You know, on their fucking album covers.
So it's like so cheesy. It's cheesy before the '80s happened.
Yes, and you have to talk into the center of the mic.
I am a.
You're doing what Mom does now. You're taking too many tips from
Someone
her.
has to do it.
Yes, just make sure you're talking to the center of the mic, and we'll all be good.
Okay.
I know you've been out of practice now. You're so busy working
practice?
and making the dean's list, and
We go in the game. We're talking about practice.
yeah. Now here's the deal. So I did a show without you. It was only 10 minutes long.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but it was me sort of reaffirming because I was so happy that
When?
early this week.
Okay.
And it was just like 10 minutes of me saying, hey, because you know my theory that Trump was colluding with the Russians, but I think he had some other deal. Like he didn't think that winning was part of his arrangement.
Okay.
He thought it was fun to bust on Hillary, like all that. But I think he really felt that ultimately she would win. And his deal with the Russians was or else was fucking this Trump Tower Moscow. That was the only piece I didn't have. I thought it was a media company. Turns out it's Trump Tower Moscow.
What would the media company would have been? What would that been?
Because then he could gadfly. He would make money. Either way, he'd be rich. He's going to get
Oh
rich.
yeah,
off this.
I thought you were talking about uninterrupted.
Yeah, essentially.
Trump
But what I'm
knew.
saying is, he really didn't want his goal. I don't think really was to be president. His goal was
Leverage.
and that's it. Part of collusion. If you don't win, if you think your plan is not to win, and you're colluding, you can go, but I'm not going to win. You know what I mean? Like that's your excuse at the back end. And that's the reason you think you're going to get away with it, because who's going to care if you don't win? So that was Trump's approach. The problem was the Russians were like, oh yeah, watch this. I know you think you're not going to win, but the best way that we can actually blackmail you is to make you win, because you've colluded with us now. So we're going to send our guys in and you're going to win. Ha ha. Joke's on you. Now you're our bitch. Mm-hmm. Has the guy ever said a bad word about Putin or the Russians? Still. 9 months in office now.
He hasn't shaved in a while.
He hasn't said a fucking...
I don't know if he said that.
He says, and here's the man who says negative shit about anybody who says anything bad about him. He has his press secretary out on fucking last couple days begging for a black girl to be fired because he called him what he is, which is a fucking white supremacist.
Wrong.
Wrong.
Fake news.
Fake news. Yes, I did not.
ESPN is fake news.
Fake news. ESPN is fake news. The
Their
reason
sports coverage is terrible.
Yes, they have fuck SPN.
They're biased against the Yankees.
Yes, they're no good. They're no good.
When they should.
Believe me.
Because fucking
Believe me. Believe me.
Believe me. Do you think he's the guy who likes the team that's winning?
Oh, who?
You
Trump?
think he's a front runner?
I don't know. No, I don't know. What he is anyone who challenges him, he can't handle. He just can't take it. Especially if you're a woman or black or anyone this white supremacist views is beneath him. Those are big button pushers.
But he's orange. He's not even white.
I know. I'm in a class by myself.
Sorry.
Which is actually probably closer to the truth of the way he thinks than anything we've said so far.
Above you.
Exactly. We're talking, again, it all goes back to what I said. We have an idiot who thinks he's a genius. We have an idiot who believes himself a genius in the White House. The most dangerous person you could ever deal with.
Will officially be now known as orange as opposed to white.
Did you see the, what was it? Last night's, or Friday night's, what's his name show on HBO?
Huh?
Ah, fuck.
Huh?
Lately, I cannot pull names at all as soon as
Bill
there's a mic
Maher?
in front of my face. Thank you. Bill Maher.
Bill Maher?
Did you see Bill Maher the other day?
I saw a part of it.
Did you see the Tim Gunn segment?
I saw the states' rights one about California.
So you didn't see the Tim Gunn segment?
No, I only saw that part.
Tim Gunn from the the gay guy.
Was that Fashion Weekly or something?
Well, he used to be on, what do you call it? Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, I think.
Oh, are you talking about like Savage?
Tim Gunn.
Oh, Tim Gunn. Okay.
Yeah. What was he on, Gene?
Project Runway.
Project Runway.
Oh, my
Thank you.
favorite.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Okay, but so they had him. He had him on.
He's pretty
But
cool.
there was one funny part because I did not see this. They pulled this picture. It's just a regular picture of Trump in one of the offices of the White House. I don't know if it was the Oval Office or he's sitting in a chair. And then when you look really closely, you realize he's got a black suit jacket on and navy suit pants on.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, they do not match. Nobody said anything to him.
You get angry.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the emperor wears no clothes right there. Like, and even Tim Gunn was like, this is like, it's so funny when he says something like, here we have a president who gets dressed in the dark and no one has the strength to tell him that he can go upstairs and get changed. It's not a big deal. He could just go right upstairs and change his pants.
He can't put his pants on without
But he's
help.
completely right. This dude was oblivious to the fact that, you know, and here's another. Are they trying to become right-wing trendsetters? Maybe like I'm gonna start wearing different suit pants. Because did you see what fucking what's his name was wearing? Steve Bannon.
No.
2 button-up. He wears 1 button-up shirt over another button-up shirt.
Badass. He's got my vote.
He wears 1 collared shirt over another collared shirt. Sometimes I think one is like, you know, like a 3-button, and then he'll put like a whole another dress shirt over it.
Because he's so buff, he doesn't want his pecs to rip.
That is a fucking like head scratcher right there. And then what's his name? Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Did a bit where they show like the video where he's being interviewed, and then each time they cut back to him, there's another shirt on top of another shirt. So it's just like a big puffy mass of shirts.
Funny.
Yeah.
I haven't watched him in a while, actually.
I hadn't either, but they did. The cut made the rounds of the news the next morning because it was.
He's always popular around the election because he has those stupid election questions.
Dude, think about this. Gene and I were talking. If it wasn't for Trump, I don't know that fucking Colbert would be the number 1 late night guy. He might have been fucking canceled. Yeah, he might have lost his show. But because you remember that I didn't like after the first week or so of Colbert when he came on again. I stopped watching because I was like,
so who would replace him?
This guy's way too milquetoast.
Who would replace him?
I mean, I guess I would have just gone back to doing the Daily Show with. I mean, I still watch that still. I just don't watch it with the same vigor. It's more guest driven or
like,
you know.
oh, look.
Oh, I heard it was a good show last night. Let me go check it out.
Here. Let's go.
Yeah. And again, you know why all of this is? Because there's so much fucking content.
Yeah.
I was last Monday.
Oversaturation.
Yeah, last Monday I'm like, okay, I got to watch this show, this show, this show, this show before I podcast because I better be up on everything. And it's like a fucking chore.
I think I might have like borderline like OCD when it comes to shows like that.
Why?
Because like if I'm into a show, I can't watch anything else.
Oh,
I'm one of those guys.
You're a binger.
Yeah, but like
you're compulsive.
I'm a compulsive. But like if like for example, Game of Thrones, I would watch.
Don't beat yourself up for that because
a
lot of people love things that way.
Yeah.
You get all into it, and then after a while, the spell breaks, and you can move on to something else.
Yeah, but usually
the weirdest time is when you're between things.
Oh.
Yeah, because you're like adrift. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's cool. What I'm doing.
God there's
no
books,
video games grabbing me. No fucking movies grabbing. I'm adrift.
If there weren't those Game of Thrones books, I don't know what to do, man.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I'd be like, what? Am
trust me, you'll find something new.
Yeah.
Something new always comes along.
Yeah,
have no faith.
By the time
maybe
by the time I finish those new season,
you could fall into something like Dark Tower or something that's already been done anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
Like
There's all kinds of stuff out there.
Yeah. New Skyrim, a new Bethesda game. That might be a Game of Thrones game.
Oh, really? Bethesda?
Yeah.
I'll reserve comment.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, the Telltale games were good. Those were, but the other game, actually no. The other game was much better than people gave it credit for.
The RPG one.
It was just
it borrowed
too much on another engine.
Yeah, it felt like Witcher 1 to me.
It didn't feel like Witcher 1. It actually felt more like what do you call it? Dragon Age 1.
But like crappier.
Just simpler. Not as. But okay, yeah, simpler. But the added bonus was you were all in fucking. There was a cool story that they were going through.
Yeah, it's kind of cool they did the Game of Thrones thing too.
That was the game. Exactly, you were in a Game of Thrones storyline, and that held you. But if you hated Dragon Age, you were never gonna like that game. Joey hated Dragon Age.
Because of combat?
Probably. I don't even know, but the combat wasn't that bad.
It wasn't.
I know it was like
D&D kind of shit.
for a non-computer game. Well, we're going way off topic here.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. I'm enjoying it, but it's nice to have you back, sir.
Donald Trump.
I missed you for so long.
Donald Trump.
Yes, Donald. But no, actually, no. You know what? I want to talk about something kind of important that I've been wanting to talk about again because it's brewing up again because of her book, and that's Hillary Clinton. And I just want to comment because it's so. I find it so funny. There's so much shit that white people, white men, people in general don't want to fucking look at, and for whatever reason, America is insensitive to its total misogyny towards Hillary Clinton.
So it would have been the same thing if it were like, I don't know, who's the name?
It might have been the same thing if it was a different woman.
Elizabeth Warren?
It probably would have been, but we don't know because
Yeah.
the only one we had to deal with right now is Hillary Clinton. And here's the thing. Now, first of all, y'all know how I feel. The woman went up against a guy who fucking outright cheated, who outright conspired with a foreign power to win the election. So by default, nobody has any credit. Like, no one can say she lost, in my opinion, because she didn't. Her opponent cheated. And in every other thing that I know in life, if you find out the winner cheated, he didn't win, and the loser wins. Every other contest I've ever experienced,
Winner loses, wins.
and to boot, she won the fucking popular vote hands down. So you can't even say that she wouldn't have a claim.
So any other way, she won the election.
So, but hang on. Okay, so that. Let's just put that out on the shelf,
which is almost impossible to do,
because everybody in news media seems to want to ignore that,
she won
especially when they're talking about Hillary. That fucking Donald Trump is a Russian spy, essentially, and is conspired. They want to just take all that off the fucking shelf. They even want to take off the fact that fucking Russia was so deep with bots. I saw this yesterday. So deep with bots and fucking Facebook shit. Yeah. And still they're like, well, we don't really know how much of an effect that actually had on the election's outcome. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you stupid? We don't know what kind of effect a massive propaganda campaign paid for by a foreign power had on our election? Okay. Well, I know this. That fucking idiots in Texas set up fucking, let's separate. We're going to separate from the United States. They had rallies based on things started by Russians. So not bright.
Texans have always.
It should be not Breitbart. That should be their fucking name.
Haven't Texans always wanted to leave?
Some. They were they started out as independent to begin with. You know that Sam Houston, though, argued against them seceding.
Yeah, I know.
Because he knew. He's like, what the fuck? We just became a fucking...
That's why he used his position to get friends with America.
We just became a state. Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about? You want to leave again?
We're really big.
We're going to be fucking... we're going to be now in a third country.
We're going to be invaded, bitch.
Yeah. And they did. They actually. So Texas has been part of 3 countries technically.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny?
Texas, the country of Texas, whatever it was called.
The whole Alamo thing, that was like a political disaster, by the way. That was like a whole political disaster for America because it was like.
You mean trying to hold the Alamo?
Well,
they got slaughtered
in general.
It became a rallying cry.
Yeah,
it became a.
The whole thing in general became.
Remember the Alamo?
It's like kind of like, let's use 9/11 as a good thing.
Yeah, it's funny too because like
never forget.
you have an idea of what the Alamo is in your head, but now it's in the middle of town.
It's literally
in the middle of a city.
America, yeah.
It's like they're surrounded by fucking steel and glass everywhere. Hey, remember the Alamo? That little building stuck in the...
Now we're kicking those people out. The people who used to live there.
And here's the thing, again. Now, we're being bamboozled because we're giving... It's the old... it's what this country has a massive problem doing. It's this false equivalency shit. You know what I mean? Like, Bill Nye addressed it best.
Bill Maher?
Bill Nye, the science guy.
Oh, Bill, okay.
Addressed it best from the global warming
Oh
perspective.
yeah. It's not even-
He was saying, like, I loved it. He made it perfectly. He's like, okay, right now, here's the problem with this argument right now.
I should have
Right now,
99
I'm on stage. Yeah, exactly. Right now, I'm on stage arguing with one guy. However, there should be 98 other people behind me. Also arguing with this one idiot to show you the true perspective of how science feels about global warming. 99 to 1.
Yeah.
And actually, it's probably it's a less
like
percent, but you can't have less.
99.9.
You can't have less than a
You
human
can't have
on stage.
999
Okay,
people.
we'll give you 100. We'll give Bill Nye 100 people, and he can still be one.
Yeah, you can.
That way, that's
closer.
Yeah, more accurate.
Does that guy make a difference?
Yeah, that was the most brilliant point.
Yeah.
Because if you present it any other way, it's unfair. It's not a 50-50 argument. It's not.
Neutrality and objectivity.
Yeah, it's such bullshit. And it's going on everywhere now. I see it. I feel sad for people.
No,
it's like this.
CNN has been does that a lot.
It's sort of this willing, like people are now beginning to believe
Everything is
opinions and deny facts.
Like everything is equal. Every opinion is equal.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's not supported, it's not.
In the old days, this was easily like the Klan. The Klan was easily dealt with by ostracizing them from the mainstream.
Hey, you're wrong.
Exactly. But now we have a president who seems to think that there are nice Klan people. There are nice Nazis.
Hey, they're misunderstood.
There's a few good Nazis in there. You don't want to hurt the good Nazis. What fucking good Nazi?
It's pretty inherently
Okay,
bad if you're
know
Nazi.
this. Okay, white supremacy, by definition, is anti-democratic.
Yeah.
This country was founded on one principle. The first principle in the Declaration, even though we didn't practice it, was that all men are created equal.
Well, honestly, the founding fathers were in terms of slavery, where it was impossible to to illegalize it at the time because there's so much money in it.
Actually, the framers knew that it was a fucking.
It was impossible.
Well, not that it was impossible. They had enough to deal with.
Oh yeah.
Without that one.
And some of them were like, even though.
And what did they do?
Yeah.
It was, and what were we talking about before? Before the show, I said fundamentally, this government was founded on the government. Its running principle, not its moral principle, but the principle of how it works.
Compromise.
Is about compromise.
Yeah.
So, which means. Compromise is pretty simple. It means that both sides are willing to give on things and eventually come to an agreement where everybody is satisfied. Everyone might not be happy. And I hate when you hear people put it, when both sides walk away unhappy. No, that's a fucking idiot deal. Why would you even do that? That's a moron deal.
Why? Take this.
Both sides walk away. That's bullshit. That is not a good deal. Don't ever take a... You want to... Both sides should walk away satisfied. That's a good deal. Yeah. That means that everybody's getting something. They might not be getting everybody, but they're getting something.
Is that when? Do you mean like both sides think like I fucked that guy over, didn't I?
Yeah. People throw out that saying like it's a thing, like it's a maxim, and I hate maxims like that because no one's really thought about them in a long time. It's a stupid thing. You don't say that because you don't want people to walk. If you walked away from a deal unsatisfied all the time, why would you bother?
It's a smart oxymoron. See, what it really means.
Oh, I'm just playing with words. The glass is half empty.
They're opposites.
No, okay.
They're cool.
Let's be real. Both parties should walk away from the deal feeling satisfied on some level. They may not have got everything they wanted, but they've managed to compromise. That's how the system works. However, since the Tea Party. And it all kind of links together.
I think more
it started with
Reagan.
the Tea Party, trust
Reagan,
me. No. It really started with the Tea Party. Because even under Reagan, Congress worked.
Yeah.
You had fucking Ed Meese, and you had, not Ed Meese, you had
fucking
a
couple of Republicans.
The guy who fucking Reagan was, it's so funny too.
The guy who was at the shooting, the assassination attempt?
His name will come to me.
That guy?
He was the head of Congress at the time. He was the Democratic head of Congress.
Oh, I thought you were talking about...
He was the third in line for the president.
Yeah. Speaker of the House?
Yeah, Speaker of the House. And I can't think of his name right now, and it'll come to me. Was it Tipper? No, he has a funny name.
Was he the guy who supported gun security or something afterwards?
Well, they make compromises again.
Yeah, well,
see, that's the
he
thing.
was the guy who he was at the Reagan assassination attempt. He was like, and he got shot. And he was like, oh, man.
that was Brady.
Yeah, him. Yeah.
No, yeah, Brady was actually.
He wasn't that bad.
He was a Republican dude, yeah, and who became
like-
the gun control thing after he got shot. Yeah. The Brady bill, all that.
Yeah.
No, but this is another guy. This was the I can't think of his name. Jesus Christ, we should just Google this.
Do the googly mooglies.
But the problem is it takes so long, and we're live.
It
We're
feels a lot longer than it really is.
Yeah, but all right. So I think it's
That guy.
whoever it was who was the head, who was the fucking in that slot with Reagan. They knew that work was work, but they had a personal relationship and friendship outside of work.
Yeah.
Like they were friendly. They got along great.
Well,
They liked each other, but they also
I think
knew.
it still happens every once in a while today.
But now, no.
Like,
I
maybe
mean, it
there's a
doesn't
couple.
happen the
Maybe
same. And
there's a couple, I'm sure.
the Senate still tries to remain that way. Like Congress.
The thing with the Senate is like it's like so corrupt in that.
And this goes
terms of
back
that.
to, okay, everybody goes, everything's broken, Congress, nothing is working. Because fundamentally, there's a large group of people who are just not dealing in the way the system works. If a system is built to work on compromise,
They're
it's
manipulating the
fundamental,
system to help
and if
themselves.
you just say, I'm not going to compromise, then all you're doing is prolonging
Did it
things.
work?
It won't work.
Did it work
Eventually, it
for
won't
them?
work because eventually something's going to change. All they're doing is making
So, like,
things. What they're really doing is making things lousy now because what they're doing is not solving
How
problems.
do you force them to do so? By taking as many seats as you can?
Yeah, that's how you do it.
And then-
but
and
now
then
how
you
you
can
do
get supermajority.
that? How you do that now? See, again, it gets
Is that
back
making them
to
look stupid?
no. Is the problem right now of for whatever reason the fundamental flaw in our system is that the winners seem to be able to pick voters
Oh, yeah.
in Congress. The congressional districting
Oh, yeah.
is very fucked up. See, that at its core is causing problems because here's what's happening. It used to be that essentially the party would say, "All right, I'm the head of this group. I'm the majority leader of my party. So I say what goes with the vote. You're going to do or not do what I say, and if you don't, I'm going to punish you by the party's going to withhold funds from you or whatever the fuck it used."
Yeah.
And you would go to, say you had constituents that really would fucking vote you out for this. Then you would go to your guy and say, listen, if I do this, I'm going to get voted the fuck out. And then he would say, okay, you can not vote. Or they would do, they would wheel and deal on the back end so that the Republican Party as a party would essentially vote and they could do vote counting and the system would work.
Doesn't help if they have a shit ton of money that they get from donors.
Yes, and there would also be political compromises within that arrangement.
Yeah.
So between the majority and the minority. But when you now have a group, even within it, that because of the way your district is done, they'll vote for you no matter what.
Yeah.
As long as you say stupid shit.
Well, the thing is, like,
As long as you represent some
happens
cookie
is,
cutter Trump mold or
like-
whatever the fuck it is,
usually,
you can just keep getting voted
like in state elections.
And so now these congressmen can challenge their own party.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That is what's happening within Congress now. That's why everything's breaking down. If you can't get compromise, you can't get legislation passed. You can't get legislation passed, you can't solve problems. That's why for 10 years we haven't solved any real fucking problem.
the thing was
There's too much
the
obstruction.
Senate in like state election and stuff is like the thing is, like, when you have a lot of money coming from donors, usually the party can support.
It's going to sway the voter or the guy who's in charge.
I think it's like 98% of the vote.
And
goes
there's
to the
another
person.
problem with the even position as itself.
Yeah.
It was made in rural times. It was made for sort of like you're doing your political service for 2 years and then you move on, You're doing your good deed for the community. So that's why it was 2 years. You were going to be traveling back and forth by horse and buggy. What if you were the fucking guy
Once you
from
got
Georgia,
there. Once
so
you
you
got
had
there,
to go
you're
longer.
fucked.
Yeah, so I mean, it was sort of designed for a 2-year commitment for that. You're going to be a aid to your community. You're the voice of the community for 2 years. And then you moved on, but it wasn't meant to be a career. Now, those guys spend, because it's only a 2-year commitment, they spend most of their time running. Yeah. They're constantly in re-election mode.
And the fact that money,
which means they're constantly looking for money.
Yeah.
Exactly. And once you need money, you're compromised to whoever his interest it was that gave you that money.
We'll fund you again next campaign if you do things.
And meanwhile, here's the other thing. This global warming shit. Why doesn't anyone say what it is? Why doesn't anyone say these are just the tobacco guys who have regurgitated themselves in a new career?
Hey,
how long before everyone has lung cancer are we going to say the global war? You know what I mean? It's the same shit.
People in India get lung cancer all the time now.
No, but what I'm saying, this is the exact same. These guys who stand up and talk against global warming are the exact same guys who are on the payroll to talk about how tobacco is good for you.
It's probably worse.
Yeah, tobacco's good for you.
This is worse because it's literally going to drown like cities.
There was also, I wonder, this thing where Trump is now weaseling on the Paris Agreement,
which is weird.
There's a chapter. It might not be. There's a chapter in that impeachment book. There was a guy who predicted that Trump would be president, but in his prediction, also predicted that Trump would be impeached.
I think most people predicted.
It's so weird because Trump thanked him for his prediction. But I guess didn't read the whole thing.
Not about the other part.
You know Trump.
Not that part. He didn't read all the way through.
Read. Yeah, I saw my name. I stopped.
Listen to the
Trump's going to be president. I win. Yay.
Listen to the audiobook. I stopped right in the first minute mark.
But one of the impeachment scenarios he talks about is that based on the way the new treaties are being written about climate change and that in a sense going against those could be seen as terrorism on the environment on some level, and could be on a far out an impeachable offense, causing harm to humanity.
Oh yeah.
Willingly,
if you understand,
if you're willingly causing harm,
if you're just an idiot who doesn't understand the implications,
if you understand the implications and you're doing it to punish somebody,
like if you're doing it for your
to undo everything Obama did.
Yeah.
Because you're not so intellectually smarter than fourth grade, from what I've heard. Because recently,
what happens when
did you hear?
Ice melts?
They analyzed all of Donald Trump's speeches and everything, and they determined that based on his vocabulary and everything else, fourth grade level. Yeah,
that's like
we have a fourth grader in the White House.
That's 1/3 the level of me.
Yeah, we have a fourth grader in the White House.
Wow,
and you know what? It's so funny because it doesn't surprise me. The media treats him that way. Oh my God, look at Donnie. He actually behaved presidential today. Let's give him a little applause.
Give him a cookie.
Look. Most of the time we know he just has temper tantrums in the corner and calls people nigger. But no.
Well, everyone else in the living room's like, oh, God, stop clapping him. Stop clapping him, please.
Terrible.
No one likes you and no one likes him.
He's a white supremacist baby. He has special needs. He's a special needs baby. He's white supremacist.
Okay.
He can't be around black people. It upsets him.
It upsets him.
It reminds him that there are other people who aren't him.
Oh, damn.
And who also aren't white. That troubles him. That there are others. He calls them non-whites.
Oh, okay.
I'm Trump. These are non-whites.
All the other whites that are not him, non-orange?
No, because that's why I don't like Mexicans either. They're non-whites.
But they're orange.
And they're close. That's why I don't mind Canadians. They're close, but they're not brown. Which means, essentially, if you really want to do the math, what Trump doesn't like is American Indians, is Native Americans.
The original Americans?
Yeah, because most Mexico and
they're from Mexico.
they're
close to that.
It's interbred. I mean, they were much more.
They got raped and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and people survived. Aztecs survived. Their genetic material is thrown forward despite our best intentions.
Good job. You survived.
Despite the smallpox blankets.
You survived
and the outward killings and the mowing them down, riding them down, them thinking that the horse and the man were conjoined.
Good job, Indians. You passed.
You passed.
You passed the test. You are accepted, and you can be our friend.
That is a great pull. That's a great pull. Oh, my God. So I never even got to... So, back to Hillary for a moment. Now we've gone off on abuse. I just think it's fucking ridiculous. There is such a weird thing that people in the media, other talking heads, blah, 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 all seem to need Hillary to have to explain why she lost. Can you think of any other presidential candidate, particularly a male, who's ever had to do that? Who's ever had to justify their loss?
Maybe like someone like really bad. I don't know.
I can't think of anyone in modern history. I mean, many times
Al
presidents
Gore,
will
maybe?
choose to do that and write a book because they know it'll
Maybe
sell.
Al Gore?
Al Gore, actually, even no. I mean, like, even he sort of ate it in the end.
But people did like he was like because he didn't fight for it. Maybe.
But no one
different,
ever.
though. It's
Actually,
different.
no one was ever mad at Al Gore. Actually, people ended up being mad at fucking what's his
Evan
name?
Jeb?
No, the guy in the middle.
the Supreme Court?
Fucking no, Nader.
Nader.
Nader the spoiler. Everyone was pissed at him, ultimately, because he spoiled the fucking thing. The only person who actually probably told Gore the truth was Clinton after the fact.
Oh, Bill?
Because he was pissed. He's like, dude, you had a fucking great economy. You had all this shit that you ran from because of the pussy, and you were stupid.
Yeah.
He ran apologetically for the greatest economic record, in modern times.
Yeah. The only surplus.
Yeah, and he apologized because the president got a blowjob. Most of he came in this. He came at it from such a soft position
Everyone
of being.
thought it was a stupid issue anyway. So.
Yes, that was it. American people gave him a pass.
give a
The
fuck.
dude was impeached and we let him go. America did not want Clinton
Even
to get.
Republicans were like-
Everyone said it ain't. Listen, if the guy got a fucking blowjob,
Good for him.
That's his fucking problem with his fucking wife. That's their relationship. They got to work that shit out.
They ain't nothing to do with.
Yeah, it's not, you know how many fucking. And meanwhile, half the motherfuckers on the fucking impeachment board that were going after him on Congress, particularly dipshit Gingrich,
Oh my God.
was fucking cheating on his wife too.
He quit.
And then he divorced his wife because she had cancer or some
then
shit.
dated someone
Oh,
else.
what a piece of garbage.
Oh, yeah, that's not worse. That's totally not worse.
But these motherfuckers, I don't get it. They all get passes. It's like Trump
It's
gets passed for
okay.
grabbing people by the pussy.
Yeah, but they don't have standards. It's okay.
I just don't understand why a single white woman is a Republican. I don't get it. There is a group that is self-loathing and
like,
has become stupidly bamboozled.
It's like
I have to believe what my husband believes.
yeah, it's like very like it's hypnotic, I guess.
It is. I don't get
might
it.
be
I don't get
it
it.
might be a family
And that's
thing.
why
It's probably a
most
family thing.
non-white women have problems with white women.
Like the sassy black woman kind of thing.
Yeah. Because they're fucking chattel. They're essentially, they're our concubines. They're white man's concubines. That's the way that it seems to be. Like, once they're married, this is my concubine who votes the way I tell her.
I get 2 votes.
And believes what I say.
Lucky for me.
She
I
now
get 2
believes, this dumb child now believes the universe is as I explain it. As I mansplain it to her now.
Oh my God.
Let me mansplain politics to you, my
one of those-
white concubine
That's
wife.
one of those overused terms that annoy the crap. Mansplain. It's
But it's
okay.
true, right there. It's appropriate because that's what it's like.
It's like yeah.
And you ever notice there is sort of this weird default among white people that there's like, oh, I'm supposed to be Republican because I'm white. Where did that come
I
from?
think it depends like on where you were born. Or something. It depends.
Okay, well, anywhere
Like, if
south
you-
of,
yeah,
say,
yeah.
New Jersey,
South of like yeah.
and I would
Going
even
to
question New Jersey to some degree.
Well, southern New Jersey. How about south of northern New Jersey?
Yeah.
There you go.
Again, I love what this guy from fucking. He was on Lawrence O'Donnell, the head of the Black Lives Matter movement. Who I love that white people have no problem calling him a terrorist.
He's not a terrorist.
Why is he a fucking terrorist?
I mean,
And why is that group terrorist?
well,
and they call that
there
group
might have been
terrorist.
a couple of violent people. I don't think that makes the whole organization terrorist.
There's fucking violent people in every fucking group.
yeah.
You ever seen the military?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
loaded with violent
See
people.
Iraq?
It's nothing but violent
Did you
people.
see Iraq?
That's
What
their
happened there?
job. So let's put the violence out of the picture.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's like who does Trump have to focus on? Antifa.
That's
Hey,
like
you know what?
when-
I think I like Antifa. You know why? They fucking hate fucking fascist pigs. Fascists don't believe in equality. Why would we want them around? Fundamentally, They don't believe in equality. They believe in at least one race being better than others. And usually they believe in some kind of cockamamie pecking order. Well, the blacks are no good, but the Mexicans are better, but the Asians, fuck them.
I forgot who said this, but it's not fascists are scared of a certain group of people. They're disgusted more so.
Yeah.
Like scared. They're disgusted.
No. Actually, that's not true. They are scared, but they turn their fear into anger.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Depression is self-anger turned in. It's self-loathing. True depression has nothing to do with the outside world. It's self-loathing turned on itself. It's you hate yourself so much. You're depressed. So that's sort of the racism thing is like, I hate these people so much, and because you hate yourself, because
it's like
deep down inside, your problem is you,
it's
buddy.
Like gay homophobics.
Their problem is them.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier to say it's the black people, especially if you've got some idiot whispering in your ear. And usually the people that believe this stuff aren't very bright to begin with.
It seems like deflection's a very big part of psychology, isn't it?
Yeah. Really, you think?
Wow.
Well, yeah, affirmation is too. Yeah. We were talking about this on another show. Like, there was a Invisibilia is the name of the show. It's on NPR. It's really good. This one was about it was about transgender, but not too. Like they were walking through the case of someone who's transgendered. Yeah. And there was a phase of it's a denial phase. Mm-hmm. I'm not this and I'm not that. What am I? And that is the worst time of it all. Like in this process.
You have no identity.
Yeah, it's that humans feeling no identity. And it's amazing how once they either identify as transgender or decide that they're not and they want to go back, whatever they do, once they find somewhere they can say,
like a comfort.
this is my island, I'm here.
Yeah.
That's when they start to heal or get better or psychologically get better.
Yeah.
We're just simple animals at the end of the day. Yeah. But that's why it's easy to manipulate us too.
Yeah. Well,
everyone around me is a Nazi. What's going on here?
Maybe I shouldn't be here.
Or if I'm going to stay here, I guess I have to at least act like them. So they don't.
I'm with you guys.
I'm with you 100%. Just don't burn me too. Yeah, kill a Jew. Just don't kill me. Yeah. That's how it works. Like, seriously, that's how it works. The people who aren't, that's how it works because there's enough loud jerk-offs that the people who aren't don't feel safe to speak up.
Yeah.
They may get beat down. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how fucking Hitler came to power.
Else get hurt than themselves.
And here's the deal. Trump is running he's running the program. 100%. He's running, I'm an authoritarian and I'm gonna try and become a dictator. Or he's going to be taken down in the process, I think. So what's going to happen first? Impeachment or dictatorship?
Impeachment, probably.
I hope.
I would think so.
You never know. Hitler did happen. It was a real thing. A real guy came to power, convinced people that Jews were the problem, and then they started exterminating a people in a civilized Western society. Yeah. That was like every other society of its kind at the time.
Except that they didn't have they had a huge depression.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. They had a problem with their identity.
Like us.
Yeah. And that comes with poverty and all kinds of other shit. But
whenever you have economic instability, that's
and here's the other thing.
Extremists come over.
As a byproduct of World War I. Another big stupid mess.
Yeah. They found it turns out like every single time there's a country with instability, that's when extremists come around.
Of course.
And they're like,
and it doesn't matter if they're left or right or whatever.
This isn't working. We need extreme measures.
And it's usually authoritarian. Yeah. It can be a left-wing authoritarian or it can be a right-wing authoritarian. It doesn't matter.
Like super extremist communist or super extremist.
Yeah, it's police states. It's rounding
like
people up.
It's horseshoe kind of
it's a lot of scapegoating. It's And here's the funny thing. I learned all this in high school.
Yeah, I did too.
Why the fuck are we allowing it to happen? I don't get it. It's happening right in front of our fucking eyes.
I looked on the fucking internet for this.
It's humans' fucking disbelief is beyond the ability. Again, it all goes back to. Do you remember the death scene of the Queen of Thorns? Mm-hmm. Remember she was failure of imagination. Yeah. She could have been talking to Trump. Yeah. She really could have been. I just didn't think he would go that far. Failure of imagination. Yeah. I didn't think that a guy would willingly collude with the Russians to fix an election. Yeah. That's really what it's in. That was exactly what it was. I remember every time you would suggest what you saw with your own eyes, people would think you were crazy. He wouldn't do that. Why would he run for president if he wanted to? Why would he go for Russia? Nah.
You should put that in a little intro.
Yeah.
Failure of imagination.
Actually, I have Cwaman is back. Cwaman back in the house. Back in the Hizzy is the name of the song.
Yeah.
We're celebrating your return.
When was the last show though?
Technically, the last show was last week, but before that was like a month ago, or like June or something. Jeez. Yeah, we took the summer off apparently.
It was a job thing and all that stuff.
I know. I let it lie. Well, what I wanted to do was just hoping that you would get like, hey, let's do the show.
Well, it's like there's so much shit going on.
Yeah. So, and you never did, and honestly, we had enough stuff going on too. So it's not like
I'm glad that's the thing because you had nothing.
The only thing that bugged me was I do like getting this release, getting these wacky political thoughts out into the air. It is it is a form of therapy. Yes.
Someone's being the therapist and someone's.
I'm not bottling it up.
Or something's doing the therapy. Either one.
You let shit off too.
Yeah, every once in a while. But usually what?
You're the quieter Morty.
But usually I release it like I don't know, just randomly.
You don't?
I do.
You're more like Uncle Steven.
I do, but
you never do.
I just do it randomly. Like random
No one sees that I'm pooping down my leg right now. I'm letting out all the bad juices.
Oh no! Oh, you have.
That's not good to be, Cameron. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
If I can tell you something, it's not good to bottle up any feelings whatsoever.
Don't worry, I don't do that.
Okay, good.
I do it just like.
That's the guy who ends up going to the fucking bell tower.
When I get.
That's the mass killer.
Oh, the guy like in fucking.
The spree killer. This is the guy who bottles up all his feelings and then one day says, I'm killing everybody. I'm going to show you all how I feel.
The son from Parenthood. The guy from the top of the bell tower shooting.
Yes. Exactly. But that's based on the first sort of spree killer.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, in Texas there is a bell tower shooter. Interestingly, I read a book called. I learned about it from Colbert because he was on as a guest. The Secret Life of the Brain. There's another title before it. I can't think of it right now. But he's a brain research scientist. Wrote this book, and kind of proposing the latest theories on how the brain works.
And the thing with brain is that's when a theory is like a theory because we didn't know so much.
Well, we're getting to know more every day.
Yeah, but it's like very like.
It's like but one of the main concepts is in the book is like when you say, I have an idea. Well, when you realize it, you've already had that. Your brain is chewed it over, like he called a team of rivals, like Abraham Lincoln's cabinet. Your brain, that's how it functions. You have opposing sides to every concept, and you kick an idea around inside your head, and every concept is turned out before you finally consciously go, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Or I have an idea.
That's funny because when you say that, I think of it, and then I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I feel that in my brain.
Which is why, in a sense, you can't trouble yourself with, I had the thought of punching him in the face randomly when I walked by. Yeah. If you don't act on it, it doesn't matter. But like your brain does shit like that. It runs all kinds of crazy scenario, survivable. It's doing survival skill. It's calculating survival odds all the time. If I do this, what's going to happen? That's why instinctively we want to act nice to each other because it's
most of us, yes.
Yeah, which is exactly what the book lays out, where we look for these oddities. Okay, so the first spree killer, I can't remember his name now. They talk. If you've seen Full Metal Jacket, what's his name talks about him in training. He was a Marine. Yeah. He was a crack shot. And he gives him credit, in a sick, perverse way, for being a killer. Yeah. But what had happened? This guy had gone to the doctor a little bit beforehand. I didn't know this until I read this book. I'd heard about the crazy shooter, like everybody else who ended up getting taken out. What he'd gone to the doctor beforehand. This is in the 60s now, and claimed of having like these weird aggressive feelings that were coming on him. He couldn't explain it.
Normal?
He couldn't explain it. They were violent. Like he would have these sudden flashes of violent intent. And he was worried about it. He went to the doctor and talked about it. Now here's the thing. Like back then,
We didn't know much about that shit.
exactly. As it turns out, after all was said and done, apparently he had a tumor pushing on the part of the brain that causes aggressive reactions, your fight or flight type response.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was, in a sense,
Well, fight mode.
suffering the fucking effects of a disease.
He was on fight mode the whole time.
And the effects of the disease essentially told him to go up to a fucking bell tower and start shooting.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Just like subconscious, like I'm just doing this.
Again, you had a tumor that was pushing up against a part of his brain that was the violent, your fight or flight response.
But, like,
so
yeah.
it was causing fake
was
messages.
he even thinking about it when he was doing it? Like, would you?
Probably not. And as the tumor grew,
It gets worse.
the problems would have grown.
And it probably. And
Exactly. So here is a guy essentially, really, on some level, I know we hate to hear this, but was really not in control of his actions.
That's how I feel like, I know this is weird.
A lot of the spree killers, though, are
But,
not
like,
that guy.
Do you know, like, drunk drivers and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, at a certain point, would they not have control over what they're doing? You know what I mean?
Well,
by
have you
that?
ever had
Oh,
alcohol?
no, I'm just wondering. That's what I'm thinking.
There's something in alcohol, when you consume alcohol. This wouldn't happen to someone who drank the first time.
Yeah.
This would be someone who's drank quite a bit, or is at least genetically predisposed to alcoholism.
Yeah.
It's called a dramatic change in tolerance, and that's what they call a blackout.
Yeah, so you just don't even notice.
What happens is you are to all appearances on the outside world, you're functioning normal.
Except for yourself.
What's going on inside the person is everything is bypassing your short-term memory. Yeah. So nothing you're doing is making its way.
Even getting through the long term.
Nothing's making it to long
It have to
term.
be the long term to be.
Just little patches, like so.
Yeah.
And that's a blackout.
So like.
And that's the person who wakes up the next day and literally goes, "What did I do last night?"
So technically, that person's not responsible for what you did.
Technically, no, but they were responsible for consuming the alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which
So
everyone knows is a risk.
That's so complicated.
Yeah. Usually drunk driving occurs in people like that, people who are blacked out and don't understand or know what they're doing. Yeah. Or to noobs.
Oh, like
kids.
first-timers.
Yeah, like who just they haven't been able to hold their liquor yet, they're
They can only take
and that
2
could be
shots.
adults too. That doesn't have to be fucking
Yeah.
And so they do get behind the wheel and they're dangerous.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially if they're kids because they don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
It's even worse.
The worst stories are the ones where the kids die who get hit by the drunk drivers.
Oh,
Because there's nothing. It's like, what do you say there?
Yeah, it's like, ooh.
It's just fucking awful luck.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, I hate to say that. One time I said, because you and Maura are so wonderful, and you've been such great kids. I said, it's weird. They're such good kids. I feel like in the next act, one of them's going to get killed by a drunk driver or something. Because if this was a movie,
tragedy.
Yeah, if this was a movie, things are going too good. You know what? You guys are too good. Something is about to happen bad. If we were in a movie,
better,
we're about to have the second act change up.
It hasn't happened yet. I swear.
And I hope it never happens. But like you guys have been wonderful kids. And I can't think of any real problem that obviously some medical stuff, Crohn's,
but that doesn't really count. That's
ADD when you're a little kid,
like a
and
police problem. Right?
yeah, Maura had her shit, not as much physically, but she had her stuff.
Shit happens.
Yeah, she had her dance dramas and all that kind of
that's
shit.
Funny though. That's more so funny now.
Yeah. So but you guys are good kids all in all.
Yeah.
So we've never had any complaints, and you've grown up as these weirdly good people on your own. Like, you're not racist, you're not sexist,
Hope not.
Yeah, I would hope not too, but somehow it happens. People end up that way. You know, people end up jerk-offs. You know, people make stupid mistakes.
Shit, I never want to be racist. Damn it.
I hope it's because I provided such a good, bad example. You've never wanted to be like me.
There was more of a...
You went the other way.
No, I think it's because you made it everything that was racist ironic. So I was like, oh, I understand what that is.
I think what we've done, or what we tried to do, at the very least, I picked up one or two things along the way, was that no matter what it was, we wanted to instill in you guys, you can talk to us. You are not going to shock, scare, or bother us in any way.
If I just walked in and shat on the floor.
Now that would be weird. See, that's not talking to us.
I said,
I would take offense, honestly. I would say, or I would question your sanity.
Sorry, I couldn't keep it in.
We would have to. I think we might have to see a doctor after that. Although you're an adult now, so I have no dude. My name's Scott, and this problem is yacht.
Yeah. You take care of yourself.
My name's
sir.
Paul, and this is y'all.
You pick that up.
Yeah, you pick it up, and it's your problem. You can eat it. You can like on be a poop eater, like on Rick and Morty.
Then you have to take me to another doctor.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. So yeah, and again, that would be the word. No parent wants to see it. No, it should bury a child. That's like the word. Yeah, you never want to do it. So
I thought you said no kid, no.
But like I said, so we've been very lucky.
No parent wants to see their kid shit in front of them.
Or jerk off.
Oh no, that's even worse.
Yes. Anyway, where are we going here?
You did it.
This has nothing to do with fucking Hillary.
You did it.
So again, I'm sick of these people who feel that Hillary needs to fucking explain herself. I'm sick of it. She's the only fucking person.
We're having fun.
Yeah. And that's a show.
Yeah.
We should end now. Jean is commenting from the peanut gallery.
No.
How dare she?
Oh, by the way, animal crackers are delicious.
Oh, I agree. Shout out to animal crackers,
they
yo.
have high fructose corn syrup.
They do. Everything does.
I know.
That's going to be... you know what?
I looked on the trail mix. I got trail mix. That doesn't have high fructose corn
HFC. That might be one of Bane's... T-Bane's coming out. HFC.
Oh.
Unfortunately, there's an S in there, isn't it? HFC.
Yeah.
I'll just drop the
Barnum's
S.
Animal Crackers. There's one.
Yes. And on that note, that's a good way we can end it. We can definitely go out now on T-Bane's new hit.
Oh, yeah.
If you are listening, if you're listeners to That Man on Fat Man, you should go over there because there's a episode we just dropped. Not only does it have Sean Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy, who played Kraglin and also was Rocket on set, but it also features, apparently, I guess Gotham's Reckoning has decided to rebrand as T-Bane.
Is that his recording studio?
Gotham's Reckoning.
That's his record. That's his record company.
No, it's That Man Productions.
Ah, damn.
If you check the video, it's clearly marked.
Damn it.
But yeah, so we're gonna leave you with the new hit he's dropped called.
He's dropped a mixtape.
Yes, EMC. Or am I saying this right? No, PME. I'm like changing the name. EMC squared. That'll be another one of his hits coming out. That'll be nice.
Squared, a little squared.
Yes. So, all right, here we go. We're going to leave you with, what is it? PME by T-Bane.
Boo.
How could you say that? All right. Well.
That's a lovely, lovely voice. T-Bane. That's a lovely, lovely voice. Kicking in old school. Fire risers.
It would be extremely painful for you
to kick it old school. Autoerotic asphyxiation often leads to premature ejaculation or PME. PME. Oh God, I'm doing again. Oh, it feels so good. That's a lovely, lovely voice. Oh. That's a lovely, lovely voice.
It would be extremely painful for you.
Oops, I I did it again. Writing my pen. So it feels so good. That's a lovely, lovely voice.
I like what you got. Good job. Comedy comes in threes.